Breaking out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. You'll understand why Kenton Gibbs is smiling. Potential exit strategy discussions occurred this morning for Bill Belichick at UNC.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Talk about a career arc. The man who is regarded by many as the greatest NFL head coach of all time may also go down as the worst college football coach of all time. Thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On ACC your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. He is Kenton Gibbs, former NC State defensive lineman and co-host of Locked On Wolfpack. I am Alex Dono, host of Locked On Canes, and on this loaded episode, we'll take a look ahead at Week 7 in college football, although a lot of these other stories are feeling less significant given what's happening in Chapel Hill right now. We have a new batch of ACC football power rankings for you, but Kenton Gibbs, this situation in Chapel Hill, North Carolina might be literally the worst FBS football team in the entire country, despite the second winningest NFL head coach of all time, the guy with the most Super Bowls, Bill Belichick, and his staff, including that bozo GM, Michael Lombardi, promising North Carolina would become the 33rd NFL team. After getting blown out by Clemson this past week, all the fans left the stadium by halftime, Kenton. A report from 24/7 Sports today, Andrew Jones of 24/7 Sports, writes that a potential exit strategy discussions occurred this morning, Wednesday morning at North Carolina. And while it doesn't mean Belichick will be fired, preliminary conversations about the possibility have occurred. And some folks think he might not be on the sidelines for their game against Cal, which is 9 days away, Kenton. So this thing could come to, and we'll talk about why it could come to an end very soon. But this could have been, that Clemson game might have been the last game Belichick coaches in Chapel Hill.
Wow. Wow, Dono. I truly hate this for Chapel Bill. Everybody's saying that they broke the rules and they were selling tickets and all that. Hey, NCAA, let's take a beat. Okay, I know many, many years ago, before I was born, the NCAA bought the absolute hammer down on NC State because players were selling tickets and selling their own paraphernalia all those years ago. Right. It's a new age. Bill Belichick is old. He's old. Give him a chance. Work this thing out, guys. Give him a chance. Give him a second chance, everybody. Give him a few scholarship reductions. I don't know, something like that. But give him a chance. He's just an old guy. He's just an old fella that needs help with these new rules, Dono. If you're in the NFL and you sell your gear, if you're in the NFL and you sell your tickets, that's legal, ain't it?
It is, yeah.
How much experience did Bill Belichick come into this season with as a college football head coach?
I think he was like, didn't he work on a staff like 40 years ago?
I don't remember that, but sure. He just thought the rules were different. I think that Bill Belichick needs a long, healthy stay at North Carolina. These things take time. They take time, And so I think that the Board of Trustees should take it easy on them. The NCAA should go easy on North Carolina for alleged violations that have been uncovered by WRAL. Great work by great people. Know the folks over there, great folks. Dono, I just think we're all being unfair to Bill. And now, with my I wish that he stays there because they're a terrible team glasses on. What a train wreck. What a debacle. I mean, Dono, we're not even halfway through the first season. We're not even halfway through the first. Have they played 6 games yet? I don't think they have they?
No, I think they played 5 games. I think they're 2-3. They beat the 2 cupcakes and they lost to the 3 actual opponents by 25 or more points each.
Dono, this is really concerning because this isn't even getting through half of a season and they're discussing potential exit strategies. Oh my God. I've seen Love is Blind couples last longer in the pods and in the real world than this. Wow. What an embarrassment for Chapel Hill. And again, from the ACC perspective of this makes us look bad as a conference because no other
Yeah.
conference has as big of a clown show in terms of the Power Four. Definitely not in the Big Two has as big of a clown show as what we have here in Chapel Hill. This is embarrassing all the way around, man. I mean, the product on the field, embarrassing. Not one, but two failed documentaries, Dono, before your sixth
That's
game.
right. Yeah.
Please, how much worse can it get? In the words of Stephen A. Smith, Board of Trustees, I am begging you as a father, stop this. Stop this. And guess what? That actually applies to Bill Belichick because the units that his kids coach are stinking. So I'm asking you too, as a father, stop this. Go get you a qualified defensive coordinator and defensive back coach. This is foolishness.
You talk about the failed documentaries. So the latest one was they were going to have a documentary about their season and about the amazing job that Bill Belichick is doing or was supposed to do coaching the 33rd NFL team. They were filming a documentary for Hulu, but North Carolina is so embarrassingly bad, they canceled it. They backed out of the documentary. So I guess, was it really going to be a documentary or was it going to be a commercial? Because, I don't know. Kenton, I've seen plenty of documentaries about train wrecks, things that have gone wrong, but apparently this one was only going to happen if North Carolina was good. But
yeah,
signing up for that documentary, canceling it was another distraction. Bill Belichick's book tour, all the attention that his girlfriend Jordan Hudson brought to the table before the season even started, felt like this coaching regime was doomed before they ever actually played a game, which is a real pity for a lot of young men who signed up to play there. And of course, the ones that did carry over from Mac Brown's North Carolina from last year, but they brought in 70 new freaking players in the portal. I don't think those 70 players were expecting that they were signing up for the circus. But here's what I want to get to on the other side, Kenton. With these discussions going on in Chapel Hill about a possible exit ramp from the Bill Belichick era, people will ask, hey, you're going to fire a coach this early into the tenure. What about the buyout? But here's the thing. North Carolina might be trying to fire him with cause. We will explain when we come back. You want to keep it locked right here. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On ACC. I'm going to be seeing that Kenton Gibbs grin in my mind all week long. The dude cannot stop smiling. I can't stop smiling when I look at Mazdas. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings this same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. We're also proudly brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. But that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all of your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Do not let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. Thank you for making Locked On ACC your first listen. He is Kenton Gibbs from Locked On Wolfpack. Make sure you check out Locked On Wolfpack. Make sure you check out Locked On Canes. That's the other show that I host. So you referenced earlier, Kenton, these allegations of NCAA violations. Now, a lot of rules have changed in recent years. One rule that has not changed is student athletes cannot sell the free tickets that they receive, presumably for family and friends. Like, you can't go and turn a profit from those. That is strictly forbidden. UNC players were allegedly doing that en masse, right? You have an assistant coach who's been suspended for impermissible benefits giving, sideline passes, accused of that, giving that to players' families and stuff. So here is from ProFootballTalk.com. So for North Carolina, the administration, Kenton, it sounds like they're trying to find an exit ramp from Bill Belichick that would involve eliminating or minimizing his contract buyout, which I believe is $10 million. It's not a huge number because he's only on, a 2-year deal. They say the fast-rolling snowball seems to be related to accounts of potential rules violations. This week, reports emerged that an assistant coach was suspended for providing extra benefits to player families and that players were selling free tickets that they had received for games. Jones of 24/7 reports, citing an unnamed source, there are many other violations that have occurred, many of them on the recruiting front. Yeah, I heard some stories because one of the problems, Kenton, is Bill Belichick let go a bunch of people from the support staff, that were already on staff in North Carolina, and replaced them with a bunch of people who don't know the rules of recruiting in college football. And guess what? Ignorance is not a reason to commit violations.
What? Ignorance is not an excuse for breaking the law, Dono? Oh my God. Who could have figured this out, Dono? Who could have did this? Who could have? Wow. I'm so shocked by this, Dono. I'm so shocked that Bill Belichick, of all people, would be so crass and so reckless in wanting to do it his way. A real American patriot like Bill Belichick wanting to do it his way. A patriot wanting to never mind, we're not going to go there. Anyway, the reality is, again, I have told y'all this a billion times and nobody seems to want to listen. The Patriot way does not work, but even beyond that, Bill Belichick's way in particular of I do it how I want to do it, and I will play fast and loose with the rules, which is documented. This was the other part of why this hire was insane. Right. It's documented that Bill Belichick plays fast and loose with the rules. It was documented for years. Whenever teams went to visit Foxborough, all of a sudden their communications got kind of finicky and nobody's headsets were working properly anymore in Foxborough. Right. Deflategate was documented. All of the phones destroyed. All of these things. Spygate was documented, Dono. These are things that were on paper. And here's my whole thing about it. Even if your idea is, well, he hadn't been officially punished by the NFL yet. Sure. You think the NFL and the NCAA have the same level of scrutiny in terms of who they punish and when? You think a school that is looking to get out of your 8-figure buyout has the same level of scrutiny as the National Football League? Okay, all right. I mean, if that's what you want to say, I'll believe you. But again, this was a hire that was egregiously bad for a multitude of reasons, and it's becoming bad for reasons that even I, a person who knew from the jump this is going to be a train wreck, could not have seen. I could not have predicted by 6 games in we would be talking about, has he coached his last game at UNC after game 5? Yeah. Oh, my God. PU, brother. This stinks.
So Andrew Jones of 24/7 Sports said, I don't think it's a lock that Belichick coaches the Cal game, which is going to be played in Berkeley 9 days from now, or I guess 10 days from now maybe. Oh, no, it's a Friday night. So, yeah, 9 days from now. Okay, so here's the thing I would ask you, though. So when you fire a coach midseason, you typically replace them with somebody on the staff, interim coach. Happens every year. A number of different teams fire their coach in the season. But, like, the entire staff are people that Bill brought in that are part of this train wreck, and, like, half of the assistant coaches are related to him. So if you fire Bill Belichick, Stephen Belichick, does he become the interim head coach? Like, I would assume UNC is probably still paying Mac Brown. Do they bring Mac back? Like, hey, we're still paying you. Come back and coach the team for the rest of the year. Like, even like firing Bill, obviously, is the right move long term. Like I believe moving on from this circus is the right move long term, but short term, it's gonna it's gonna have to get worse before it gets better there.
You know what I think, and let me help y'all out. I'm an NC State grad. I'm gonna do my good deed for the day. I'm gonna do my good deed to get right with the big man upstairs, because I've probably laughed harder than I should on a lot of these Saturdays now. I've probably enjoyed and feasted upon the tears of my enemies a little too much in talking about the Tar Heels. But I'm gonna help y'all out, okay? Board of Trustees, when you get your next hire, they should fall under 2 criteria. Their first 4 names should not be William, and they should not be over the age of 68. That's it. That's all we're asking. That's all we should ask here, because you hired William Brown and then you hired William Belichick, both of whom were over the retirement age in the U.S., Donald. The retirement age in the U.S. is 65. Both of them were over that when you hired them. They're literally over the hill. There's, they've got much more life behind them than in front of them. Yeah. That's life in general. We're not even talking about coaching success. So, this is a very nasty time for the Tar Heels. And I think that this will go down as one of the darkest chapters in program history, because if the NCAA is consistent, this will be a bloodbath for UNC that may spread beyond Bill Belichick, to be honest. Yeah. And that's the most unfortunate part. You may see a situation where, a new coach comes in under sanctions or whatever the case may be, having to deal with these things because of this Belichick hire. When you could have had that guy from Tulane that's shown that he has the ability to beat Duke, and John Summerall.
And could have had probably it's too late now, because he's going to end up probably getting an SEC job or something. Like the ship already sailed there. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this much. From what I'm hearing, it would be one of the biggest surprises to Vegas if he did not end up in Lexington, Kentucky next year at his head coaching at his alma mater. That would be a shock to many. So, it's if that is basically a done deal, if that's basically a foregone conclusion, I mean, you're really in trouble, because who's your next hire? Who's your next hire? Who wants to come in behind this train wreck and be the head coach? And I get it. From one instance, it's a basketball school. Nobody really cares about football. And you can kind of slide under the radar, win 6 games a year against the Island of Misfit Toys Community College, and, you'll be okay. But with the new rules that the ACC has for how many Power 4 teams you got to play, with the new rules about how many conference games you're going to play, and I'm going to tell you this much. I don't know about their boosters and what all that looks like, but if anybody decides to get skittish about giving money after money poured in behind Chapel Bill, what do you do then? What do you do with the spurned fan base, man? This is a tough situation all the way around.
By the way, speaking of boosters, let's turn the page on North Carolina for a minute. How about this? Stanford. The Stanford football program today has received a $50 million gift from a former player. They don't say who. The gift is the biggest individual gift for the program in Stanford football history, and it is tied directly to football and not to a building or facility project. So it sounds to me like the Stanford alumni base, one person in particular, but I'm sure that this is going to inspire other donations, want to go out there and nail their next head coaching hire, because they've got an interim coach right now in Frank Reich, and they want to actually start investing in NIL, which is something Stanford, has not done. And they've had some football success in the past, not in this modern era. So sounds to me like Stanford, I'll give them their flowers. Like they're trying to at least financially do what is necessary to compete as a legitimate football program again.
Hey, Andrew Luck, man, why you playing like it wasn't you? Why you playing like it wasn't you? What Stanford football alum has made enough money in his lifetime to where $50 million is a drop in the bucket? And for those of you saying it could be John Elway, John Elway's career earnings before taxes were about $47 million. There's only one guy that it could possibly be. Andrew, you're a great GM, brother. You're a great GM. Hey, imagine a GM that gets to pay his own salary and boost the money. Hey, Great job, Andrew. I'm joking. I'm joking. There are plenty of Stanford grads in terms of football that have had successes outside of football. There are plenty who I'm sure have gone on to hit big with whatever startup or business venture. It could have been a multitude of people. But in all seriousness, I'm glad that Stanford has that. I like when the ACC is good. I like when ACC teams do right by themselves. And that is part of the reason that I, turn the page back to Bill Belichick before we go back to Stanford. That's why I hated that Bill Belichick hire so much, because you did wrong by yourself. Stanford is doing right by themselves here and giving themselves an opportunity to compete. Nobody's expecting them to be a national champion next year, but we are expecting them to go to Clarence T. Chang Stadium in Hawaii and win yourself a football game. That's what we are expecting. By the way, I only know the name of that complex because they were my one-star school that I developed on college football 25.
Oh.
Love that place. Love that place. Turned them into a powerhouse.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so I guess if Stanford is getting a $50 million donation, we need the Calgorithm to step up and give $51 million to their football program. Right? Aaron Rodgers, you got some money, Aaron. Step up. Step up to the plate.
Stop purchasing all that ayahuasca and purchase Cal some players, brother. Come on. Stop purchasing them dark rooms and get Cal out of a dark time. Come on, Aaron Rodgers. Come on, Deshaun Jackson. Go ahead and give some Skrilla. Give some ducats. Marshawn Lynch. You go ahead and whip that cart around the field and whip out the checkbook, too.
Well, when we come back, we got a new batch of ACC football power rankings. Stanford is not at the bottom. One of the other programs we talked about might be. You want to keep it locked right here. We're not done yet on this brand new episode of Locked On ACC. Oh, folks, we're only getting started with PrizePicks. Every day we make decisions, but on PrizePicks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Playing PrizePicks is such fun. It's simple. It's a great way to add more excitement to football. I've been playing since 2021. You just pick more or less on player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley's rushing yards, and you're in the game. I love how quick it is. You can make your lineup in under a minute, guys. It's also fun to follow other players in the app and copy their lineups with one pick. You can do that as well. And the new injury reboot feature, if your player leaves early and doesn't return, it won't count against you. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. It's another big moment for Locked On. Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college preview show only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Thank you for making Locked On ACC your first listen. All right, so Kenton, obviously there's been movement in the ACC power rankings here for Locked On ACC. Not at the top. Miami stays at number 1, okay? And you tried to talk me out of it last week. I had Florida State at number 2 last week. Maybe I was trying to hype up that Miami-FSU matchup. Florida State has obviously fallen a little bit. All right, Kenton, so behind Miami, I've got Georgia Tech at number 2, Virginia at number 3. Are you with me on this? That the Yellow Jackets were off last week, but they're undefeated. They're back on this week. So I've got the Yellow Jackets at number 2. UVA, the Overtime Kings, I've got them at number 3.
I think you got it right. I call that correct. I think that those two belong at the top. I haven't seen anybody perform better than them at a consistent level all season.
Yeah.
I like 2 and 3. I like it. Georgia Tech, hell of a job this season, man. What great ball they've been playing so far, but the real tests are still ahead for them.
All right, so I've got number 4 gets a little trickier for me because based on their last couple of weeks of conference play, I'm bullish on the Blue Devils. I do understand, though, they've got a couple of non-con losses, but they're 3-0 in the ACC, and Duke, believe it or not, is actually given the second highest odds now behind Miami to win the ACC this year. So I've got the Blue Devils at number 4. I dropped Florida State down to number 5, so I still have them in my top 5. And I've got Louisville number 6, who would obviously be higher had they not just lost to Pitt. So that's what I'm looking at now.
Hold on, wait. You got Louisville in front of UVA? Or no,
I got
UVA
Louisville
was
behind.
3.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, or it was UVA they lost to. I'm sorry. Pitt just beat Boston College. Yeah, but no, I have Louisville at number 6, Florida State 5, Duke 4, UVA 3.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, you're good. Yeah, and this is why Alex Dono's power rankings are the undisputed power rankings, because they're always right. They're always right. He always gets it right on the head here. I think that this is a good bunch here. You know, Louisville, when everything is clicking for them, they always look good. But I told you, there's always that one game a year where you walk away saying, who was that team? Who was that? What did they do with the Louisville Cardinals? I've watched them all year. They've never done that before. And this might have been that game for them. Hopefully it was, at least. But with that in mind, I'm fine with these rankings so far. I'm fine with everybody that you got ranked where they are at the moment.
All right, so a team, they just won their conference opener against Syracuse, a diminished Syracuse. SMU number 7. I've got Pitt number 8. They just blew out Boston College after making a quarterback change. We'll see how Mason Henschel, their new starting quarterback, a freshman, how he looks against Florida State this week. I got Pitt number 8. I don't know. I might have Syracuse too high, Kenton at number 9. They've looked like a shell the last couple of weeks since the Steve Angeli injury, but I don't know. For whatever reason, I still have them right around that meaty part of the bell curve.
Let me tell you something. Rick Collins is he's out there stinking the joint up. He's out there stinking the joint up. I'm fine with this team dropping as low as about 11 or 12, because this team, it's hard to see where do your wins come with the offense playing like they have been with Ricky at the helm. Like that. And that's just, with all due respect, we can only comment on what we've seen you do on the field. I don't care how close they said the QB competition was. What I'm seeing right now, brother, they could swap you out with Arch Manning and they get the same results. And that's saying something. That's saying something.
That's a great line. All right, so next on the list, so Syracuse at 9. I've got, Clemson moves up a little bit. They did what they were supposed to do against an awful North Carolina team, but Clemson moves up to number 10. I got NC State at number 11. I still hold the Virginia Tech thing against you, Kenton. I'm sorry. They
deserve it.
I've got Wake Forest at number 12. So Clemson 10, NC State, Wake Forest 12 are my next 3.
Yep, I think that makes sense. I mean, out of those 3 teams, Clemson is clearly the most superior in terms of talent. And when they're rolling at their highest clip, NC State may have the most prolific offense out of the 3, but boy, that defense leaves something to be desired. There's a reason that I placed a bet on and mind you, this is not a degenerate gambling bet, so don't you put that on my jacket. But I did place a bet saying, somebody said that NC State was going to win 27-24 in overtime in Notre Dame. And I said, if NC State holds Notre Dame's offense to 24 points in a full game of football and overtime, and they win that game, I will foster a dog for at least a month, and I will name it DJ for Dave Jr., for Dave Dorn, and DJ as in DJ Elliott, our defensive coordinator. I will foster a dog, and I've never had an animal in my life before, but I will foster a dog for at least a month, and little DJ will be with me if our defense can do that.
I'll tell you, you would fall in love with that dog, and he'd be with you for years. I could already tell you that, but I'm not expecting that to happen, though. All right, so here's the bottom 5. Cal at 13, Stanford at 14, although they're $50 million richer now. Virginia Tech, move them up a little bit to 15, Kenton, because Boston College has looked pretty awful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So I dropped BC to 16, but I've got the North Carolina Tar Heels, I think, number 17 on your programs, rightfully so. They're in the cellar now. UNC now 17th out of 17 in the ACC.
Dono, I got an idea. You know how you were just talking about, hey, we need more documentaries of teams when they're bad? What if, you know how they had the 2 bills for Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick on that Giants team? What if
Yep.
we do the Two Bills Part 2 and we do how catastrophically bad both Bill Belichick and Bill O'Brien have been this year? A documentary. We've already got half the film. We're already following UNC around with Hulu and HBO. Let's go over up there to Chestnut Hill, follow them around for a little bit, and have the Two Bills Part 2. You know, it'll be the perfect thing. Sequels are always terrible. The actors always care less. It's always a much worse product, which we're seeing out of both of the Bills. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. This is perfect.
I think that's a great idea. So here's your top 17 again. Miami, number 1. Georgia Tech, Virginia, Duke, Florida State rounds out the top 5. Louisville, SMU, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Clemson at number 10. NC State, Wake Forest, Cal, Stanford, Virginia Tech at 15. And then the two Bills. Bill and Bill, 16th ranked Boston College, 17th ranked North Carolina. Chapel Bill and Chestnut Bill at the bottom of that list. Want to send a huge thank you and shout out to the everydayers for making Locked On ACC your first listen. Make sure you follow Kenton at TGIF_Kenton and at Locked On Wolfpack. Follow me at Locked On Canes and at Alex Dono on X. And we'll talk to you next time on another episode of Locked On ACC. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.